Second Cup, brought to you by the Nickel Plate. Sit, sip, savor, and shop.
Hi, everyone. Good morning to you. It's 8 o'clock on the start of your Thursday morning, one day closer to Friday, and we have a big game tonight.
Go Bills.
Against our division rivals, the Miami Dolphins, down in Florida.
All right, where are we watching the game, everybody? Anybody with us in Miami right now?
Anyone leaving today, going down there tonight for the game? I will be watching from the comfort of my bed.
Samesies. I'm going to put it on when I get into bed. I will actually probably already be in bed for a while.
Thank you. I was talking to my dad last night, and he goes, "Oh, do you want to come over for the game?" I said,
"Oh, that's so cute. Thank you."
Thanks, but no thanks. Because tomorrow is going to be a long day.
Yeah.
Especially if you're staying up to watch the entirety of the game, which I don't know how you do if you are an early riser like we are.
If you were a normal working human, you probably could.
Yeah.
Like if you got in at 9, but not us.
No.
It's too hard to do.
I stayed up for the debate, and I probably went to bed about 10:30.
And this would be later than that.
Yeah, and I came to work like a zombie.
Yeah, it's too much.
Who is here with me? Oh, Sarah, good morning. Do we think they're going to win?
I do.
I do too. But we were just talking about how the Bills under Josh Allen have constantly won against the Dolphins. Although when we have had losses, 2 losses against the Dolphins in recent history, both were on enemy territory.
Marguerite's son on the plane as we speak.
Very cool.
That sounds so fun.
Howard says he'll be sleeping through this one. Kristen's watching at home in Ohio. Lori says, "Go Bills." Love that.
It's a hard one to watch because it's late. These late games, it's funny. So we had this 1 o'clock game. The one weekend that I was like, actually had the Monday off, I was like, oh, I could have gone for a primetime game because I actually had the day off.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've got, 3 or 4 in a row that are late games.
I know. Danielle says, "I'm up at 4 a.m., so I'll be dragging tomorrow at work. Are you planning on watching the whole thing?" Howard says, "Sorry, I don't have a good feeling for this game."
Oh, no.
Connie's watching at home. Weather isn't pretty today. Oh, that stinks. I think she's in Florida, too. She's down in Florida.
Well, I'll tell you where the weather's beautiful here.
I know.
It's Miami weather here, like all week long. Of course, I said, Ed, this week is going to be awful. You guys know how I feel about the heat.
So ridiculous.
Mid-80s is too hot for me. I'm on my dog bandits wavelength. It's too hot for us.
Sarah, glad you're with us. I love having kids in school now, and everyone wears their Bills gear. It's so cute.
Oh, that is so cute.
You know, what you should do is take pictures. Send them to us using the hashtag #SeeItOn7. We'd love to share those Bills Pride pictures.
Look what your dad says. A very comfortable recliner away.
Well, you know why he's saying that. Because yesterday we picked up their chairs. You want to hear how much of a grown man I was?
I heard you did a little bit of lifting yesterday.
Okay. I've been lifting, but not, to that extent. Anyway.
But not anything heavy.
So they bought these chairs from Value City.
Yeah.
I just said, I suggested they go there. They didn't want anything crazy. It's for the basement. So I said,
because they had a new place here.
Right. Oh, but they moved here, which is great. So they went to Value City, but we had to pick them up.
Yeah.
Because they were going to charge them like a crazy amount to have this delivered.
And you're like, have you seen my muscles? I can do this.
Well, so I thought that they would fit in my truck, in my car, my SUV. I have like a little Mazda. It wouldn't have, inevitably. So I rented a truck from Home Depot.
What a man.
And drove this thing.
Yeah.
It was like driving a school bus.
Tell me about it.
You can't see out the back, so it's totally unnerving.
Why? Because you had the chairs in the back? Oh, because you had a big van.
Correct. So it's long, and they've got like a gate, and you can't see out the windows. There's no rear view mirror.
Is it a pickup?
No, it was like
one of those big, like you'd abduct someone. Is that what I'm picturing?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just trying to get us all on the same page here. Like, not like you would, but just the concept of like a big van.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
Creepy.
So I'm driving this van. It's crazy. It's a little unnerving. You're high up. You've got these mirrors on the side.
You're not a good driver.
Thank you. So I'm driving slow as hell. And my mom didn't say a word. I couldn't even believe it. She's normally like the first one to say something.
Probably just praying.
So we get to Value City. This guy brings the chairs out there in boxes, and he lifts them up, and hauls them into the back of the truck.
Okay. So you're like, if this guy can do it.
Thank you. So I'm like, oh, how much does that weigh? He's like, oh, like 78 pounds. I'm like, okay, that's not so bad. And I really had no problem getting them out of the truck. They were just super awkwardly shaped.
Yeah.
And they also wouldn't have fit in the box into my parents' house.
Oh.
So we took them outside, brought
Assembled?
everything in. No. And so it was like 2 different pieces, the top and the back, or the top and the bottom. And we brought each in separately, but it was quite a process.
Okay. Good job, Ed, doing man things.
I know. That's what I said to my dad. I'm like, and my mom. I'm like, do you see me? I'm like Jeff Baker.
Yep.
I'm a grown man.
You are. I drove Paul's pickup truck over the weekend. You really should have seen me behind the wheel in that thing.
I'm sure you were loving that.
And then I took it directly to a place where it's probably never gone, Target. I drove it straight to Target because I wanted to buy a new book, and we were out of town, and he was hanging with his friends, and we only brought his cars. I'm like, well, let me go to Target. The parking was interesting. It's a big truck. So
it's weird driving.
I did a
like
pull
that.
through because I thought that was safest, and it's got one of those little trailer hitches on the back. And then I feel awkward about that because I'm like, I want to make sure that it's over the line enough, like in the good side of the line, so nobody bops the trailer hitch because you put a hole right in your car if that happens.
Yeah. Well, so the lady at Home Depot, she saw me as I'm getting, renting all the trucks. She goes, "Oh, you're something." And I'm like, my mom looks at me. She goes, "Yep, he's something."
She's not wrong.
Right. And then, she's like, "Oh, you're on the news." Yeah. I talked to her for a little while, but I came back and I didn't know how to really like park this thing in a spot. So to your point, you're kind of like, well, you're kind of thrown off.
Yeah.
And I came back, I'm like across the line, parking like a jerk. And
you're like, it's over there. Right. Throw the keys.
I basically said to her, I'm like, sorry about that. I parked like an AH. You know what I mean? And she just started cracking up.
She's like, we expected it. Don't worry.
Yeah. But I could not have been more thankful to get back in my car.
I know. Well, it's funny because I feel like my car is a decent size, like a little SUV also, until you get behind the wheel of one of these monsters. And you're like, whoa.
Yes. So my parents moved to Buffalo about a month ago. And frankly, I've seen my parents more in the last month than I have in probably the last 5 years, which is, to me, that's great.
Nice. Yeah.
And as they are progressing through their life stages.
This is what my mom says. And I can say, as we age. But frankly, we're on that as well. So,
right.
As we age.
So it's nice to have everyone together.
Yeah, it is fun. We should get all our parents together sometime. We still got to do that candle making thing. Now that your mom's here, we're going to have more opportunities to make this all happen. I know my mom's watching too, so we'll get that together. That'll be fun.
Robin says I used to drive limousines, and that was actually really fun.
I remember that she did that.
How do you drive something like that? Like, you've basically got a big rear end. You know what I mean?
As someone who's familiar.
Tell us more.
You just have to be careful. Anyways, okay.
Jane.
So we're watching the Bills game tonight. Most of us watching from bed, it turns out. Occasionally we know a person or two who's in Miami. Beauvais in Miami.
So is Aaron.
Yes.
But
it's going to be a big, exciting game for a lot of these people.
Did you? Look at what my dad says.
Oh, fantastic!
He needs to go on an owl prowl.
You're in, Mom. I'm tapping in. Ed's dad for the owl prowl. Tap tap.
Do you see Beauvais' shirt? He is in Miami, like dressed as if he lives there. He's so comfortable there. He's on the beach. He's wearing this great Hawaiian shirt.
Oh my God, yeah, he fits
so
right in.
funny.
Ed goes, "Where do you think Beauvais getting these shirts?" I said, "I don't know. He's getting them." Okay, so yeah, big game, and then tomorrow I'm sure we'll be breaking everything down. We'll see what Josh Allen does this game. God, just be careful.
Yes,
the only thing I have to say to him.
Right, we just don't want him.
Like
hurt.
He's so good. You could see in the last game too. So we watched the last game in Connecticut. So as you can imagine, there was no sound. And I get frustrated when there's no sound because I do like to listen to what the announcers have to say. But it is what it is. We were at a bar because really like nobody's playing this in Connecticut. So you have to go to a bar that's got like an NFL package.
Bills backer bar.
Yeah, well, I wish there was not a Bills backer bar near us. So we ended up just at a bar and the game was on and that's all I can ask for. It was fine. So Paul and I are watching there. And there were 2 other Bills fans too.
Oh, great.
So that was great.
Yeah.
Gave a couple Go Bills to them. But I like to hear what the announcers say. And what I kept seeing, bless you.
Excuse me.
Was remember when you sneezed yesterday and you go, bless me?
Well, because you were silent.
No, I was talking to Aaron. I was in the middle of a conversation and then I get smacked. He goes, bless me. But anyways, you could just see Josh taking it into his own hands at times. And I didn't get to hear how the announcers were analyzing it, but that was my own analysis.
So we were sitting in the stadium, and I said to Russ, I'm like, Josh Allen is the Buffalo Bills at this point.
He's like, you know what, I'll do it.
He's carrying the team. Right, exactly.
And I'm very familiar.
Yes, indeed. You are one of a kind, aren't you?
Ed thinks he lifts heavy. I have a heavy lift every day when I come in here. You guys saw what happened when I wasn't here on Monday. They put John on the show.
Oh my God, it was so fun.
They put John on the show.
Didn't we have a good time? John, are you there? Do you have a camera on? Because I think we had a good time, to be honest with you.
I'll tell you who enjoyed it. Paul was giggling. He thought that was pretty funny.
It was funny.
He enjoyed it.
By the way, you can watch tonight's game on 7 ABC. Even if you don't have Amazon Prime, we are broadcasting the game on Channel 7. Our coverage begins at 7 o'clock with Leading the Charge live in Miami with Matt Beauvais. Kickoff at 8:15, and then we'd invite you to tune in tomorrow morning.
Yeah, don't miss us tomorrow morning because we'll have your recap. We'll make sure Beauvais does a good recap, and you'll get to hear what we think. And you know that it's always so important.
Guaranteed, mark my words, that dependent on the situation, it's situation dependent, Beauvais will join us tomorrow morning, and his first words will be, "Good morning to you on this Victory Friday."
Yeah.
It will be.
I thought you meant for Second Cup, and I said
no.
I was thinking that would be really dependent on his flights and stuff too, because he's got to get back here at some point because he's got a little baby to take care of.
It's true.
Got a lot of things to do.
Can we talk about what's happening?
Just real quick, Catherine, that was a top 5 Second Cup in my time here, and I've been here for 2 years. So I think you can feel the fire under your seat a little bit.
You think so? You want to come do this job? You want to be in charge of Ed?
Projecting a little bit, Katie. I think you're just.
You want to be in charge of Ed, John?
No.
Hi, Aaron.
They say hi.
Okay. So that's our editor, Erin. She's adorable.
Isn't she the cutest little thing?
Yes, she is. She's the best.
John, talking a big game until he realizes the responsibility that comes with it.
It's not less being in charge of me and more like reeling me in.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
It's like when you have a child and you let them think they're kind of in charge, but you're like actually the one who's making sure nobody dies. Nobody dies, I mean gets fired.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Thank you very much for that. Can we talk about what's happening in outer space right now?
Okay, let's talk about that. And then I do want to talk about retirement because I really do think that's an important topic.
All right.
We got to bring it back to what's important.
We got to what?
I said, because you can talk about outer space all you want, but then we have to bring it back to reality and talk about what's important.
This is so cool. So SpaceX has just completed its first civilian spacewalk.
Scares the bejesus out of me. No, like I saw the movie Apollo 13 when I was about 10 years old.
So you know exactly what could happen.
And I, up until that point, had told my parents, I think I want to be an astronaut or a vet.
Let's launch you up to outer space.
Neither of those things happened. And immediately after watching this movie at the drive-in, I was in tears and decided this is not for me.
Okay.
Look at the Earth.
It is amazing to see this, whether you are into it or you're just kind of like whatever. This to me is fascinating.
It freaks me out.
This could be you. This could be me.
Could be
standing at the edge.
What is he doing?
Of outer space. He's showing basically how he can.
I saw he was doing his like right hand, left hand.
Yeah.
But he's just showing how the suit works or whatever.
I guess. I think this is so fast. I would never do it. I know. And to your point,
I said to Ed, if I got out of that little hole, took one look at the Earth, I'd be like, take me back there right now.
But you talk about a bird's eye view. I mean, this is something that is life changing. I mean, you were seeing the Earth from a completely different perspective.
Now, I want to know what I'm looking at here, too. No, it's hard because you've got the cloud cover, right? But it's like you can see a continent there, right? You're seeing some Earth. It's hard to tell what you're looking at, though.
Kathy says it's amazing and creepy at the same time.
Totally.
Julie says, I have no desire to go to outer space. Like
that, just like, I'd be like, oh my God, don't let go. Because what happens?
Shonda says, hell to the no.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Shonda.
Cindy says, I went to outer space. Jeff says, I'll stick with my feet planted on the Earth. I think it's cool.
Same. There's enough here on Earth for me to explore.
You don't want to go to Uranus?
So stupid. This is what I mean. Like, what if John was here? He'd never get past that. You'd be giggling about it for the next 20 minutes, and you know that's true, John. You're probably sitting there giggling in your seat right now.
Like when Josh this morning goes, "Oh, there's a lot of dew on the ground."
Like, it's like literally having a child. And I'm like, DEW, move on with your day. All right. Anyhow. All right, let's bring everybody back to earth and talk about retirement.
Okay. Good segue.
Are you guys ready to retire?
Yes.
How much do you think you need to retire?
The answer is a lot of money. It's $2 million.
Like close to $2 million to like retire comfortably is what they're saying right now. It used to be $1 million.
Right.
That's what they used to say. Now we have to set our
Budget for
projections even
inflation.
further.
Right.
Yeah.
Robin says, "I love retirement. I'm so happy for you. I know my parents are loving retirement also, except for your mom, who says retirement stinks."
She needs something to do.
Well, and that's fair.
She's a doer, and she needs something to do.
I know, that's insane. Danielle says, Shirley says, retirement is worth waiting for.
And I think that people find in retirement what they do. Like, I'm sure Robin has found that, like, people have found in retirement things to do, but my mom just hasn't found what she wants to do yet.
And that's okay. I think it's all about self-exploration at that point also.
She's very crafty. She gets into her little craft things. She was making these little felted animals. Did you see those? They were so stinking cute. She was doing like felted, what's it called, Mom? Felted.
Like needlepoint?
Something felted. Felted. Mom, help me with this. I can't remember. But like you make like little like pins. You can make little animals. And I'm looking it up. And if you bought one on Etsy, like these, like a little felted ornament, okay, felted needlework, I can't remember what it's called, but you could literally buy an ornament for like $80.
Wow.
They're very labor intensive. So then when I found out what they were worth, I was like, sit down, make. She didn't really like that because she wanted to do it on her own time.
Right, exactly, because she doesn't want to have a job.
Well, thank you. It's needle felting. But like they had the cutest little things. And like, listen, you'd buy them as like a little decoration. But for example, it was like a tiny little nest, literally, that someone made out of like straw, or like they took some sticks from their yard. And then these tiny little felted birds, and you like put them in there. They had little beaks, and it was like an Easter decoration that you stick on. They were adorable, and it was like $80.
Wow.
I'm like, felt.
Keep going. Keep going.
Work.
Sit down. Don't get up until you're done.
Get to work.
How roles have reversed.
It's like Happy Gilmore when he's like, your back hurts or your fingers hurt when they're doing the felt. He's like, now your back's gonna hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty. Do you remember this from Happy Gilmore? One of my favorite movies
I'll be
ever.
honest with you. I had actually never seen Happy Gilmore.
Please come watch it with me before number 2 comes out. You've never seen Happy Gilmore?
No.
Like, do you know the premise?
Yes.
It's the funniest movie. I'll invite the Beale Boys over and we'll all watch it together.
Oh, okay.
We would watch that.
I love the Beale Boys.
When we were kids, we watched that movie a billion times. I could recite that movie.
Anita wondering, what is that money supposed to be used on? Is there a list? Is that in addition to a pension and Social Security? Yes.
Right.
So whatever you're saving in your 401k, obviously it builds and builds and builds as the market increases and does well. You're gaining more money. But they were saying essentially groceries, travel, whatever other kind of expenses you might incur, medical expenses. All of these things are things that you would need your cash for, but wouldn't be able to necessarily spend on if not for this money.
I'm going to do the really very quick Google search that we love to do on this show. Let's say you retire at 61, have an estimated life expectancy of 90. I like that. That means you need 29 years of income. Across those years, $2 million could equate to about $69,000 a year or $5,700 a month. So
that's pretty good.
Excuse me. Here's the other thing. It would depend too on like, did I pay off my mortgage?
I was just thinking
Is
that.
my mortgage already paid off?
Right.
Am I paying for where I live still? Or even if I did pay off my mortgage for the first 15 years, maybe the next 15 I need to go to assisted living.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I need like an additional little amount of care.
Oh my gosh. Do you know what I was talking to my mom a couple of weeks ago. Do you know that there are places that you can buy into as a senior, and you are basically living there from the time you buy into it until the time you die? So they offer you like senior citizen living. So it's like a 55 plus community.
And you could go into advanced stages of care?
So, right, you would go into assisted living. Then you could go into memory care.
Skilled nursing,
Right.
whatever you need from there. Okay.
And they're providing it for you. But you have to basically hand over your life savings.
Yeah. So I do know of some places, like in order to get in the door, you are paying like over $500,000.
Yes, that's exactly it. I had no idea that even existed.
I mean, you know what? Like, the fact of the matter is, like, sometimes you need that kind of care. Like, you just
Sure.
do. You're going to hit a point in your life, or you may or may not, right? But should you hit that point in your life where you need somebody, like, where if Ed's left alone, he's not making himself a nice meal. You know what I mean? He's
Yes.
just eating whatever. He's not.
Chicken and broccoli.
Exactly. He's not eating chicken broccoli anymore. When you get older, you're not doing that. You're just so, like, you want to make sure you're taken care of and that people are taken care of. So you might need to get to that level.
And that's going to be the problem, Robin, is that when you're a retiree, you cannot live like a rock star. You got that champagne taste on a beer budget, right, Jeff Baker, who says living on a cruise ship is cheaper than assisted living. I would do that in a heartbeat.
Live on a cruise ship?
Yes, absolutely. I'd be that retiree who says, sayonara, and I am taking a cruise ship for 3 months and going all over the place.
And the thing is, like, now, like, a lot of the people we're talking to who are saying, like, listen, I'm to the point where I am retiring, or I'm going to retire at, some point. Like, we need to talk to also the people who are our age or younger, even like John, for example, Aaron. Like, you have to start saving when you're that much younger. Like that financial analyst I talked to, he used an example of 35, and he was already like, you're late to the game at 35, like you are.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, but that being said, every little bit helps. So start putting aside, I think he said like $100 a month.
Oh yeah, you'd have $1,200 a year.
And then, by the time you get to, depending on how you're investing it, like what it could be at the end, if you have a spouse who's contributing, then you add your Social Security. So, his point was never don't do it, but the earlier you do it, the better.
So Danielle says you've got to pay off your mortgage prior to retirement. My dad actually says that he's going to be subbing. So he's going to be making, some money that way.
It's kind of nice to be able to like do a little something extra.
Yeah. And then Linda, this is a good idea too. I mean, if you want extra money, become an election worker at the polls.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I know a couple people that do that.
That's a long day. Connie says, my husband thinks he can stop working altogether. He would drive me crazy if he's underfoot 7 days a week. You mean like if he's in your house?
Yeah. Like if he's around under. I can tell you that happened with my parents. It happened with your parents. Like, it's a totally different dynamic when they're both home all the time.
Yeah, I think my mom is ready to kind of do her own thing. My dad's ready to do his own thing. Your dad goes to Florida sometimes.
Yep.
Robin says you have to plan for things too, hot water tank, furnace, etc. Right, like that's why they're saying that you need $2 million. And it's not that you're taking all of this money out at once either.
Yeah.
It's there, and it's also collecting interest. It's, compounding, and you're able to build on the money that's already in the bank.
Howard says, you got to have a little something to do. I do drug testing observations 2 days a week. Lisa gets me out of the house a couple days a week.
Oh, Howard, what exactly does that entail? I'm so interested in what does that mean? So, like, do you stand in the bathroom while somebody's peeing? Like, what exactly does that entail?
That's how I'm reading it,
right?
To be honest with you, yeah.
Can you give us the layman's terms here?
Marguerite hitting us with the other side too. Life's too short. The obituaries are proof of that.
That's true too.
Robin, I tell Ed this all the time too. You can't watch the daily stock market.
I know, but I do. Like, I even just looked again at my 401k. As I was telling you yesterday, I was like, okay, like, I think I'm in a good position.
Just be glad you didn't look at it last week.
I know.
You are in a good position because I know you don't like to hear this, but you have a little bit of time.
I know. I can't think, like.
You'll be fine.
So if you've been working since you're 14 years old, I'm 37 years old. You are damn near 40. I am tired.
The important thing is that we don't look it.
Right.
We look good.
Oh, gosh. Somebody says, hold on, I want to go back. Yes, Howard. Yes, I collect the sample, much of which is due to court issues.
So maybe he stands there and makes sure everything is good, and then
Kelly.
Someone's got to do it, right,
Kelly
Howard?
is just so funny. She just puts it down.
Watch people.
Oh, it has to be observed. So to verify for whatever system they are required to test.
Sure.
Interesting.
Shonda, on that note.
Fascinating.
All right,
how much
listen.
Do you get paid for that?
You're looking for a second job?
I
You're looking
mean,
for another gig?
Stand there and watch. I mean, it is what it is, but
There you
you're
go.
making money. You got to do it
extra
somehow.
cash. Well, somebody's got to do it. And Howard's like, hey, look at Jeff Baker.
I know.
37 and tired. Ranch, suck it up.
Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you right back here tomorrow, hopefully for a big Bills win.
Ready?
Go Bills!
Bye, guys.